Hey, Paradox for JuanSource.com. Finally back. Good to see you guys again. Gonna be doing an article today on T-pistols on Strike. So, gonna get right into it. Not waste any time. Gonna be going over 3 pistols today. 3 different strats for the T side. And the first one I'm gonna do is one of my favorites. And if you guys saw the commentary on Strike that I did with A-Dog against Area 51, you saw we did this T-pistol strat, worked really well for us, and I'm in general a big fan. I think on T-pistol most teams tend to stack over to the A site, even on gun rounds, what most teams do. And if you saw the overview that I did on Strike, you saw that I recommended a sort of 3A, 1 middle, 1B setup as one of your possible setups that you can do. And a lot of teams like to do that on the pistol round because A rush is going to be a bit difficult to shut down, and most teams, if they try to play a little closer up, they're going to need more players to play here. And most teams are going to end up playing, you know, maybe over in the spawns more so, trying to play the range with the USPs, and they're going to prefer, you know, to have 3 players over at this A site instead of 2, especially for the really quick rush, which is going to happen to this bomb site. So I think overall the B hit on the pistol round is just a really good strat. Even if they do have 2 players at the B site, there's really not a lot of places that they can play to counteract this, to counter the strat. So anyway, pretty much all this is going to be is an explode strat on lower B over here. So what you're going to do is everybody coming out of the T spawns, buys are going to be whatever you want, really. I'd recommend mostly Glock armor. You know, you could have a Deagle or a USP nade here and there. USP nade is one of my favorite buys on T-pistol. You know, if you want one guy to have a grenade, you figure CTs aren't going to have armor. That nade's going to do really big damage, as well as a Deagle. It can take even 2 shots in the chest to kill somebody with no armor with the Deagles. So definitely, if you want to go that route, go for it. I'd have the people leading perhaps with Glock armor in the case that they get naded or something like that. You want to be careful of that too. So, you know, maybe mix your buy up a little bit. Don't go, you know, maybe mix the Deagle armors with the Glock armors and all that. Well, Deagle and USPs rather, with the Glocks. So anyway, coming out of this T-spawn, you're all going to go in this apartment. Okay, 5 people. And on the strat, I'm going to have another fake, so you don't have to worry about sending another guy one way. I really want all 5 guys kind of to go over to this B site. If you really want to experiment, maybe send 1 player middle. But like I said, I'm going to have a fake off the strat too. So yeah, anyway, so you're sending 5 guys down in this hall. You could run. I recommend you run up to here. You don't start walking here, because if you run around, they're going to hear you making this noise. So really all you want to do is walk down and get in position as quickly as possible. You don't really want to sit down here and delay. So you're going to set up your first 2 people. You know, I'd say 1 here and maybe 1 swing out a little bit like this, and you just all boom, run out, pick a time. You know, make it really quick. Say you get down here, say, all right, we're gonna go at 110. All right, let's go at 110, and then boom. All right, explode, and just run up, frag out. Normally what you're going to see is a player spotting down right here, and this guy may get 1, maybe 2 guys. If he's lucky, that should really be it. I mean, there's really not much more that guy should do. If you anticipate a team playing 2 here, what I would do is maybe send 1 fast middle, 1 player fast middle, and only 4 down in that apartment for the specific strat. And this middle player, what I'm going to say is find any way to get up this catwalk without getting fragged. Okay, so your whole idea is going to be to get through this catwalk and create pressure here, because you see, once you get to this angle, once you clear this catwalk over here, this player that's trying to spot down, you know, the favorite thing to do here is to spot down here. Once you clear that catwalk, this guy is trapped from both directions. Not only have you exposed this guy, but he has really nowhere to go. I mean, you know, maybe he could hide against this pillar or something like that, but then you have 4 players coming up at the bottom there, and you're just going to cause a ton of havoc. So if you do want to experiment with that, you know, that's definitely a route you can go, especially if they play 2B. You could take some pressure off. The only drawback to that is going to be that you're kind of going to telegraph that B hit. In a way, you know, that player running up fast catwalk. If you do it fast enough, you're gonna be able to execute it before the rotation. You know, the rotations on this map, for the most part, are pretty long, so you have kind of a window of time that you can execute without having to worry too much about the pre-rotation or having the rotators ready, you know, already there and waiting for you by the time that you're actually executing on the bomb site. So if you do go that route, you know, with sending this one player, even if you want to do a 3-2 split and completely deviate from my idea, then you could do that too. But overall, the strat is going to be in this dungeon right here, lower B, and I'm sticking to my guns. I'm saying, you know, you want to send 5 players here. Like I said, 4-1, that's acceptable too. Explode, boom, clear everything out. Bomb planter, I'd say you want to get this plant down right away, because by the time the rotation's going to come, time's going to tick down to about at least 30 seconds, maybe 25. If you clear that one player out that's over here, you get this plant down. You know, of course, you want to clear spots, but you want everyone else to be clearing those spots. So yeah, get that plant down as soon as possible. As far as plant spots go, it doesn't, you know, I just plant safe because there's really, you could pretty much cover from anywhere. There's not really a bad spot to plant, I'd say. So yeah, I'll normally plant behind this box right here. Maybe you can, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the best place to plant, behind that tall box. So get that bomb down, and like I said, by the time they're rotating, you know, the A players are rotating, especially if they're playing heavy A and they have a decent retake, time can tick down to even 30, 25 seconds maybe even before they even get in position to retake, and that's going to put a lot more pressure. I mean, you figure a 25-second bomb timer instead of 35. Cuts down the time, rushes them a little bit, doesn't let the other team get as much coordination for their retake, and that's gonna, of course, make your life easier. So don't take any of that for granted. All right, we want to win the easy way, not the hard way. All right, so that's gonna be that. As far as after plant goes, I'd play one player over here. In this back area, this could be where the bomb planter goes. Bomb planter either goes there, or if they're starting to retake, you could even, you know, try to work this box, or even maybe push up and get in position here. All right, if one of your players hasn't already. This, by the way, is a, you know, pretty good place to play. Close range, kind of time your peak. If you're just sitting around this corner, and somebody's running up, they're not really expecting anyone to peek, and once they get close, you know, their mindset is, all right, I'm gonna have to peek this angle, you know, I'm gonna have to come around this angle and peek, and now this guy just swings out and shoots him in the head. And that kind of, you know, it's like a little nuance in the game, but you kind of feel out what somebody's mindset is, like I was talking about. I mean, this guy coming around the corner, he's not going to expect anybody being there. You know, he's kind of past the point of, all right, well, you know, there's a guy that's going to peek. All right, now there's not going to be a guy that's going to peek. I'm going to be the one peeking the angle now. But instead, you know, you have a player peek out. So if you're going to play over here, that's kind of that idea. But yeah, I'd send one player back over here. Definitely have one in the basement. Even if you can't, you know, you could cover the bomb pretty well, but just strafing in and out here and just firing shots is really annoying for the other team, because in order to hit you, they would really have to just sit and wait for you to peek out. And if you're doing this really quickly, like, you know, just making them worry about you, obviously they're going to know you're down there, you know, it's a common spot to cover from. You could just really buy a lot of time, and like I said, you know, that timer's already going to be down. That's going to just make this bomb site really easy to defend if you play that way. If you could kind of play a really quick peek and drop and just make them worry about you, and don't let them advance as fast. And kind of what happens is that if they're retaking, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to either get cautious and take their time more, Alright, like, you know, maybe peek and okay, he's not peeking now, advance, oh, he's peeking, and like take sort of selective advancement. It's like you're trying to advance, but then you also have to worry about the guy peeking, so you're going to take your time. Alright? The second thing this team may do on the retake is they may just say, okay, well, he's not really trying to kill me, I'm just going to run in. If you ever see that where people are just running in, obviously they can't shoot back accurately, so you just want to peek out and you know, actually try to frag the guy in that case. Alright, so maybe peek out and take a few more shots and try to actually kill that guy and say, hey, you know, you're not going to retake this bomb site on me, you know, where are you going so fast? So yeah, just little tiny things, and I know I really haven't covered these little details, so not really strike specific here, you know, this kind of applies to everything, but you know, the more tips you get, the better, right? So if you complain, I'll stop giving you tips, so let me know. Anyway, so that's going to be the overall B hit. Like I said, you mainly want to send 5 in the basement. If you want to do a 4-1 split, that's fine too. Again, if you do that, be aware that you're going to telegraph the strat early on. You're going to let them know, hey, this is most likely a B hit. Maybe cause an earlier rotation, and that way that basement is going to have to go faster too. The one thing I'd worry about if you do a 4-1 and you telegraph is an early pre-nade coming in, and that can be really hurtful. That's why I say I like this explode idea, because it doesn't give them really a chance to grenade, because by that time you're really already coming out, and that nade's going to be, if it gets anyone, it's going to get maybe 1-2 players at most. If he tries to nade, and then he's going to die because he's not going to be prepared for 4 people or 5 people plowing. Alright, so that's the lower B explode. That strat, I think, is one of the most fundamentally correct T-pistol strats in the game, on any map, because it's just so good, and what the other team has to do to counter that, even playing 2 players at B, may not be able to stop that strat. So that's definitely my favorite pistol strat in the game, because it's so simple and it works so good. So I definitely recommend you guys do that mostly. But since I said that, and since a lot of people subscribe to JuanSource now, you can't really do that all the time, because now people are going to know what you may do. So you do want to have a couple other options, so I'm going to give you those too. Alright, so the second strat I'm going to do is going to be an A fake into the lower B explode. Okay, and now, you know, again, I like that lower B strat a lot, so I want to create ways that you can execute that even if the other team anticipates it. So on this A fake to B explode, what you're going to do, one player is going to go over to this upper A, and really the main idea here is you're going to try to get close and create a ruckus. The best way to do this, I think, on Piss Around is to use a smoke here. And whenever you're using smoke, and I'm going to go into this really quickly, whenever you're using smoke, like a single smoke that you're going to try to play through, and you don't anticipate the other team double smoking, you want to toss it closer in a way that they can't take advantage of that smoke. For example, what I'm talking about, say if I toss smoke like that, right? The other player can easily walk into this and take advantage of the smoke, more so than I can. Like, say if somebody, you know, peeks this angle here, I'm actually going to be at the disadvantage here. I can't see anything, and if I'm doing that smoke, I don't really want to be up at this angle doing this, so I'm going to probably do it from further back early on. And by that time, a smart player, I mean, at least what I may do, is I may try to play into this, say, hey, there's smoke here, you know, I'm going to take advantage of it, why not? So when using smoke, you want to make sure that you don't allow your opponent, or you kind of take away the advantage that they can get from that smoke. So what I may do, and this is like a really tiny detail, but you know, really important once again, is going to be able to use that smoke to benefit you a little more, and maybe toss it a little further back. Now this smoke, you figure, you know, they can still kind of go into it, but now you have more advantage from it because you're going to be closer up to it, and now you could take advantage quicker, right? So you can't, you know, you may even want to toss it a little further back. But it kind of depends, you know. It really, you want to build a balance between, once again, really small detail, but I think that's kind of a lost art of CS, is those fine details that nobody pays attention to. That's really what makes you, what gives you that little edge against the other team. Is going to be those little tiny details. You know, take nothing for granted, because, you know, taking one little thing for granted, maybe you get fragged up here, that costs you a round. That round costs you 3 rounds because of piss around, and then you lose 16-14, and you know, that one little mistake that you made may have won you the match. You know, that one little thing you could have done different may have won. So why give the other team an out? You know, why help the other team out? You're trying to win. You know, do all the little things right. So I'm telling you right now. So yeah, try to use those smokes just in general. You know, once again, I got kind of sidetracked, but I'm thinking CS, I'm flowing CS right now, so I had to tell you guys that. Anyway, getting back to the strat. So yeah, what you're going to do, I'd recommend having a smoke up here. And this way you could kind of work out, and what most teams are going to do here is going to be playing a player upper. Now, as you can see, that you can't really see anything into that smoke. So even if you want to go USP smoke, that could be decent. What I personally might do on here is to buy a grenade and maybe, you know, clear this out early on, and then grenade down and give them a nice little surprise down underneath this patio. Just a nice little HE grenade, just in case anyone's playing there. So whatever you want to do, this upper A player is basically trying to fake. And now I do this really as fast as possible too. So this upper A player is going full speed. Alright, so we have 4 more guys. You know, it's not the only player in the strat. Second guy is going to go middle. Once again, you can do one of a few buys here. You can go deagle and try to, you know, get a nice shot long range with the deagle. What I personally would do is go USP, probably with a smoke. And the smoke's really going to help me out in the fact that I'm going to be able to advance without them really being able to counteract that. Most players aren't going to buy a smoke on CT pistol. You know, you figure grenade, flash, and kit is going to be what most people are going to buy. That's 700. And most people aren't going to buy smoke. They can't really double smoke. They don't really want to waste all their nades and flashes on a smoke. And they can't really see through with the USP. You know, it's can't really spam into it either too much. So smoke's a pretty decent tool on the T pistols. So that's probably what I'd go with. This middle player's USP smoke. Now, what this player is going to try to do is try to make a statement that you're going into A connector. Alright, your overall goal is going to be to get into A connector. So that USP may be used for range. Alright, it's going to be a heads-up battle, USP versus USP, and then you're going to have that smoke helping you out getting into the A connector. So what I do now, I'm going to try to really put you in the mind of the CTs. If you do a regular A fake, I easily could have this middle player have, you know, over at lower A here. This may be, you know, they see one guy coming up lower A, one guy coming up upper. That's easily identifiable as a fake. Now, if you send the player middle, and this may be a little bit counterintuitive, you have 2 paths you could go. You could go over to A, or you could go over to B. And the fact that you have a choice, I think, really trips people up, because instead of doing a dedicated A fake, now you're sending a player that can go either way, but he's choosing to go to the A bomb site. And that kind of, at least for me, it makes me think like, alright, well, this guy chose to go to A instead of help his team at B. They're doing an A split. You know, that's at least what I think 99% of people are going to think. Is that it's just based on the fact that you have a choice where you could go. The fact that you chose to go into this A bomb site is going to sell a stronger of a fake. You know, ultimately that's what it's going to do, because like I said, you know, you send 2 players to A, hey, you know, maybe they're doing a fake because this guy's committed to A, blah blah. And if, especially on piss around, you're not really going to dedicate more, you know, 2 players is pushing it already, but you're not going to dedicate 3 people to fake and send 2 people over to B bomb site. With the bomb, I really don't think that's correct. So if you are going to do even a 2-player fake, you want to maximize it. You don't want to just go to that bomb site. So using this middle and using kind of tricking their mindset like that, saying, hey, I could have gone B, but I went A. We're really going A. You're really selling that fake. So that's the reason I'm sending this player middle instead of lower A. That's also kind of interesting thing to think about too when you're running fakes. Is that whole idea of having choices and picking the one opposite to the one you're going to go. All right, so hope that makes sense to all you guys. So yeah, this player middle, once again, uses smoke. Nothing fancy really. You don't really need anything too fancy. Once again, that whole idea of using the smoke to benefit you, not the other team, is going to come into play. So I mean, if you smoke this connector off right here, and you don't go in there early enough, you may find a player playing in here, and you're gonna get hurt by that. So use the smoke however you want. This is gonna be kind of selective and dependent on the situation, what you think is right. Personally, I think what I would do is I would try to get over to these boxes and then toss the smoke anywhere down on this ramp so I could advance into this connector. Alright, and push that middle guy off. What most of the time is going to happen too is that middle guy is going to rotate over towards that A side right here, okay, and try to cover up this connector. I played middle on CT pistol, and this is what I would do if I saw a connector and I kind of lost control of this middle. I'd move over here because this is the next immediate spot where I can help. Alright, and B is normally not going to be a place that people rush. I may even play back here for a little bit, spot that B rush, but if I see them going into that connector, I'm going to want to move over here. And what this does too is it's gonna cause a little bit of a longer rotation. Okay, this guy may get a little more committed to this A bomb site, move over, and now you have to come back over here. It takes little detail, maybe 2 seconds longer of a rotation, but that 2 seconds may be the difference between a round win and a round loss sometimes. Bomb plant or losing the bomb and getting retaken. So yeah, that's gonna be your middle player. Just kind of get used to that. Get used to soloing. I'd say send your best solo artist over to middle. I think that'd be the best thing to do, and they could kind of make a play. Even if you want to double back to B, or if you can get in here and wrap in the CT spawn, that's gonna be deadly. So kind of play it by ear. Take whatever God gives you. Alright, so this will leave 3 players over in this dungeon, and over here I would get in position the same way. I may sit back a little bit in the case of a nade or something like that and then get in the position, but overall the timing's going to be similar. It may be delayed a little bit depending on the A fake and kind of what's going on, so be aware, and kind of when you're practicing, practice the timings too. Practice delaying it a little more. When you're practice running as fast as possible. Practice running it delayed a little bit too, just so you get the feel of how that's going to affect your strat. Alright, so I've talked about as much as I can about this strat and just strike in general, but I have a third strat I'm going to go over, and this is going to be something totally different. Well, mostly different, and this is going to be A strat. You don't want to focus completely on the B bomb site. You do want to have an A strat, so I'm going to go over one right now. This is going to be a 2-on-2 split. Now, you see, besides that first strat I had, the other two are splits, and that kind of goes against my fundamental theory of having a really tight group and overwhelming numbers. But this map as a whole, I mean, unless you're going B, like I told you to go B, if you're going to the A bomb site, I think you're better suited doing a split and coming from many directions at once. So that's the way we're going to do this strat. So on the strat, it's going to be a 2-1-2 split. 2 players are going to go over to the upper, and I would send the bomb this way. You're closest to the bomb site. You're the safest as well. And that bucket kind of scared me. Anyway, so yeah, 2 players over at the upper. Sorry, I had a phone call. and you're gonna have the bomb. Any sort of buy really. I'd have probably bomber wants to have Glock armor, just for more protection, and one player lower. Okay, and this guy's gonna be sitting back a little bit, so you don't really want to push too much here. You don't want to risk your death too much. So this guy's just going to be here for control early on, and just kind of after that you're just going to be here to put some sort of presence from this direction. That's really all you're going to do. So this player may not really enter the bomb site even. You may just kind of come up this ramp, peek in the spawn a little bit, and maybe even clear this corner right here to the left. And then you really want to have your upper and your other 4 players initiate for the most part, and you're more of a support. You know, you kind of want to selectively give your help instead of just running in. Oh, my teammate's gonna die. You know, I'm gonna be the hero and save his life. You know, saving Private Ryan. But no, that's really not the mindset you want to have. You're really gonna want to be a little more selective, a little more careful, so you don't lose his presence here, and you don't let any CTs take control down here. Okay, so that's going to be 2 upper, 1 at the lower, and you're going to have 2 players go to the B halls. Okay, so they're going to go B halls. Instead of going middle, you're going to go B halls and into this dungeon. Okay, so you could run down here. I wouldn't run, I'd take your time down here, wouldn't run. This is going to be kind of another surprise factor that you're going to use here. So so make your way, and you don't really want to test the guy at middle too much. Most of the time they're going to be playing that guy middle. You do want to be careful at anyone spotting down here. Really uncommon, but you never know what people are going to do these days. So you do want to be careful. And as you're advancing here, I just work against this wall, and if you can kind of crouch in. I'm not 100% sure, and I kind of want you guys to test this, but I'm pretty confident that if you kind of crouch in, they're not going to be able to see your head with USPs if they're playing from back here, for example, which most teams are going to do if they're spotting that connector. That's probably going to be the spot they're going to play from, and that middle guy is going to be spotting for that mid. He's not going to see anything, so he's not. They're not going to be too worried about this connector. You could kind of crouch in and play what I call explode on contact, which means you're creeping until they see you. The second you get any sort of contact, in the second that it's known that you're there, you're running through. Alright, that's time to go, and that's time to plow. So that's the point where you explode. At this point, what I would do is you could do one of 2 things. You could wrap into the spawn, or you can wrap into the bomb site. Most of the time on a gun round, if I was going middle, I'd wrap into the spawn. But on this pistol, I'm more a fan of kind of wrapping into the bomb site, especially since you're going to have only 2 players out of upper, and this lower player just playing kind of selectively. You're kind of going to want to support more so down in here, alright, into this bomb site. So if you do want to split the 2 players up, you can. I'd recommend they go the same way. So see what works. I mean, you could send them both through the spawn and clear this guy out first, or you can both enter the bomb site. Wow, okay, my mouse fell, sorry. I'm just a wreck today, sorry guys. So yeah, kind of lost my train of thought. So yeah, it really depends how many players are playing at this A bomb site. If they're playing 3 at this A bomb site, then you're really gonna want to do whatever's best to support the site take. If they're only playing 2, they're playing 1 player middle, 2A, then you could get a little fancier and start pushing into spawns and all that. Once again, your priority is first to, number 1, to take the bomb site, number 2, to get the bomb down. So you got to get those 2, and you got to make sure you're going to get those 2 before you do anything else. I mean, I'm not saying you don't want to be flanking or wrapping on spawn or anything like that while, before the bomb's planted or something like that, but kind of try to read the situation. I mean, if your team has blatant control of this bomb site, you just got 2 entry kills and you're just still coming in, go ahead and wrap into the spawn, why not? But if they have 5 alive and these upper guys are having trouble coming out, this lower guy's getting pressured a lot, you're really going to want to go help them. That's going to be your priority. So this is strat where really it's going to depend on scenarios, kind of what happens. We get an entry kill. All right, well, this is what we do. We're fighting 5-on-5. They have 3 at the A bomb site, and our bomber is having trouble getting into site. All right, now we have to go support him. It's going to be kind of different responses that you're going to have. So once again, really not much more to it. The one thing I do want to talk about is the bomb, actually where you plant the bomb. Now, this really depends once again on the situation, but for the most part, I think the best plant is probably going to be somewhere out in the open. You figure you're going to have your lower guy defending. I wouldn't plant on any line where you could get picked off from the connector. The last thing you want to do is get picked off stupidly, just have somebody long range sniping you while you're planting the bomb. You lose the bomb. Now you have another guy has to run over it. Now the other team's ready for the retake. It just creates a lot of problems. So number one, get the bomb down safely. So really, the idea you have here is, hey, we got to pick. Where did we get that pick? That's why calls are so important. We got that pick in CT spawn. So maybe I'll plant a spot that's kind of exposed to CT spawn. Probably not going to be anyone there. And that's really the way you want to play this. Is going to be based on that. If not, I'd probably just plant right behind these boxes, because there's really not an angle where you can kind of sneak the defuse from also, and you're covered as long as you use this tall box correctly. You're really covered from everything for the most part. Only thing you have to be aware of is somebody running up from CT spawn just suiciding on the planter. Okay, so that's as far as the plant goes. So really not going to overcomplicate things, because why overcomplicate things, right? So anyway, 2 players, once again, 2 players over from the B halls into this middle connector, walk through here, okay, kind of try to sneak into this connector, explode on contact, okay. At this point, your 2 upper players and your 1 lower player haven't, they shouldn't have made too much of a presence early on, but you definitely want to get in position at this point. You don't want to have 2 guys from connector having to explode, and now you're not in position to go, and everybody on the split goes one at a time, and then you all die. So be ready to go with your connector, guys. Communication's key. Keep updating your calls. Update your positions. Okay. If upper guys get delayed, all right, we're not ready. Then you have to know how to respond to that. Especially on split-based strats, really tedious. If you really want to get them down well, you really have to practice all these situations, scenarios. What if lower guy gets pushed back? What if upper guy gets pushed back? You don't want to have a situation where you're unprepared, because that's a point where you're beating yourself, and that's stupid. Why play the game if you're gonna beat yourself, right? So anyway, 1 player lower over here, playing kind of back, trying to stay alive, and selectively giving his support. 2 players over at the upper with the bomb. Bomb comes in, goes for the plant as soon as you can. And 2 players sneaking up from the connector, like I said. So that's going to be your 2-on-2 split to A. Other 2 strats we had the lower B hit. Okay, lower B hit was really simple. Just walk up to this hall, explode. Okay, so explode strat, get the bomb down as soon as possible. And then we had the A fake to the B explode, which was 1 player middle and the 1 player over at upper A, and the 3 players over at lower B with the bomb waiting. Kind of same ideas of B explode. Okay, so you have 3 strats. Definitely try them all out, tweak them, give ideas. Whatever you come across, any sort of problems with these strats that you may find, and any improvements and any sort of interesting nades that you may want to use, or you find out, definitely post them on the site, help everybody out. We appreciate your input and your feedback. So that's it for Strike today. Hope you guys got a lot out of it. Strike T-pistols, and of course all the tangents I went on, and the little tips and tricks you guys got too. So that's it for me today. It's good to be back. Good to be doing articles. It feels like I haven't done one for a while. So any requests, I'm going to continue doing these T-pistols. Anything else you want to see, maybe even a demo commentary, let us know. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.